Your cat is trying to tell you something right now. Not with sound, not with movement, but with the very way it looks at you or refuses to. Most owners spend years wondering why their cat seems distant, unbothered, or cold, never realizing that the answer has been sitting in plain sight the entire time. What you are about to discover might completely change the way you see your cat, and more importantly, the way your cat sees you. There is a quiet mystery living inside every cat owner's home. You feed them, you shelter them, you love them in every way you know how. And yet, sometimes your cat walks right past you without a glance, jumps off your lap the moment you sit down, or stares at you from across the room with that unreadable expression that leaves you wondering what you did wrong. The truth is, you probably did not do anything wrong. You just did not know the hidden language your cat has been speaking all along. And once you understand it, everything shifts. Let us begin with something that might surprise you. The way you play with your cat is almost certainly backward. Not because you are careless, but because no one ever explained how a cat's mind actually works during play. Most owners do the same thing. They buy an expensive toy, hold it in front of their cat's face, wave it around, and wait for the magic to happen. Sometimes it works for a moment, but more often than not, the cat loses interest quickly, walks away, or never engages at all. And the owner is left feeling like their cat is simply not playful. But here is what is really happening. Your cat is not uninterested in play. Your cat is uninterested in that kind of play. Because a cat is not just a pet sitting in your living room. Beneath all the softness and the purring and the slow afternoon naps, your cat is a predator. Every instinct in its body is wired around one ancient purpose: the hunt. And the hunt does not work the way most people think it does. A cat in the wild does not chase something that comes toward it. It stalks something that is trying to escape. Think about the natural movement of prey. A mouse does not sit still and wait to be caught. It darts. It hides. It goes still for a long, tense moment, then bolts in an unexpected direction. That unpredictable rhythm is what lights something up deep inside your cat's brain. It is not the object that creates the excitement. It is the feeling of the chase. It is the uncertainty, the suspense, the moment just before the pounce. So the next time you play with your cat, try something different. Do not bring the toy to your cat. Take the toy away. Drag it slowly behind a piece of furniture. Let it disappear around a corner. Make it pause, then peek out just slightly, as if it is trying not to be seen. Give your cat something to solve, something to stalk, something to work for. Watch what happens to their body when you do this. Their eyes sharpen. Their body drops low. Their tail twitches with focused energy. That is the look of a cat that is fully alive in the moment. And here is where it becomes something more than just playtime. When your cat has a successful hunt, when it stalks and leaps and catches its target, it feels something powerful. Relief, satisfaction, joy. And when that feeling happens again and again in your presence, your cat begins to associate you with it. You become the source of one of the best feelings in its life. A cat that connects you with that kind of joy does not ignore you when you walk into a room. It watches for you. It waits for you. It wonders when you will bring that feeling back. Now, here is where many owners unknowingly undo all of that good work. You have probably experienced this. You want to be close to your cat. You reach out to pet them and they move away. You call their name and they look at you blankly. You go to pick them up and they slip out of your hands. And then a stranger visits your home, barely acknowledges the cat, sits down quietly, and within 10 minutes your cat is climbing into their lap. Feels deeply unfair. But there is a real reason this happens, and understanding it changes everything. Cats do not respond to need the way dogs do. A dog is wired to come when called, to seek approval, to follow your emotional cues. A cat operates on a completely different logic. To a cat, control is not just comfort. It is survival. In the wild, a cat that could not control its own movements, its own choices, its own space, was a cat that ended up in danger. That instinct has not gone anywhere. It still lives inside your cat every single day. So when you are constantly the one initiating contact, reaching toward your cat, calling them over, picking them up, following them around the house, you are not communicating love to them. You are communicating pressure. And a cat under pressure does the only logical thing it knows how to do. Creates distance. Not because it dislikes you, but because distance is the only way it can feel safe and in control again. The stranger who sits quietly and ignores your cat is not ignoring them at all. They are accidentally doing the most powerful thing possible. They are giving your cat a choice. And when a cat is given a true choice, when no one is reaching for them, no one is calling to them, no one is making their presence about the cat becomes curious. It approaches on its own terms. And that approach, that small act of a cat choosing to come to you, carries a weight that no forced cuddle ever will. So try this. Spend time in the same room as your cat without making it about your cat at all. Read something. Look at your phone. Sit on the floor if you can, because being lower removes the sense of you looming over them. Just exist near them, patiently and quietly. And then wait. The first time your cat walks over and settles near you because they decided to, you will understand what it means to be truly chosen by an animal that trusts no one easily. That is not just affection. That is something much deeper. There is another form of communication happening between you and your cat that most people completely overlook. It happens silently, across a room, in a matter of seconds. And it is one of the most emotionally significant things a cat can do. It begins with eye contact. In the world of cats, staring is not a neutral act. Direct, unblinking eye contact between cats is a signal of challenge, of tension, of potential conflict. When two cats hold a hard stare, something is about to happen. This is why, when your cat looks at you and then slowly, gently closes its eyes, it is doing something extraordinary. It is choosing, in that moment, to be vulnerable. It is setting down the instinct to stay guarded and signaling something that, in cat language, translates to safety, to trust, to peace. Research conducted at the University of Sussex and the University of Portsmouth explored exactly this behavior. They tested what happened when owners slow blinked at their cats and when strangers performed the same action. The results were clear. Cats were significantly more likely to slow blink back at their owners than at unfamiliar people, and they were also more likely to approach after the blink. What this tells us is remarkable. This simple, quiet gesture is not just a random expression. It is a form of emotional dialogue. And your cat is waiting to have that conversation with you. The next time your cat looks at you from across the room, do not stare blankly back at them. Look at them softly, let your eyes go gentle, and then slowly close them and open them again. Calm and unhurried, as if you are saying, without words, I see you and I am not a threat. You might find that your cat sends the same signal back. And in that small, wordless exchange, something real passes between you. Now let us talk about your voice, because the way you speak to your cat matters far more than most people realize. Almost every cat owner talks to their cat. It is natural, it is instinctive, and as it turns out, it is actually meaningful to your cat in a very specific way. Research from Paris Nanterre University discovered that cats respond to a particular kind of speech from their owners, but only from their owners. When strangers used the same tone of voice, cats showed little to no reaction. But when their own person used it, something activated. They oriented their attention. They responded. The key, though, is understanding the difference between the kind of speech that reaches your cat and the kind that washes over them. Many owners use what you might call baby talk, a loud, exaggerated, high-pitched performance that is more about the human's joy than the cat's comfort. That kind of talking tends to overstimulate rather than connect. What actually works is something softer and more intimate. A gentler tone, slightly higher than your normal speaking voice, but calm and quiet. Think less about projecting and more about confiding. Less like you are announcing something and more like you are sharing a secret with someone who is very close to you. Your cat has been listening to your voice for as long as you have been together. It knows your rhythm. It knows the emotional texture of your speech. It knows the difference between the voice you use when you are stressed and the one you use when you are at ease. When you speak to your cat in that soft, familiar, calm tone, it does not just hear sound. It feels something settle inside it. It feels the signal that says all is well, you are here, things are safe. That is not a small thing. That is a daily act of reassurance that your cat is quietly receiving whether you realize it or not. Something else your cat has been communicating to you is where it does and does not want to be touched. And this is an area where well-meaning owners make mistakes constantly, often without ever knowing it. Your cat has a body language system for this that is fully functional and completely clear, but only if you know how to read it. There are zones on a cat's body that feel wonderful to them when touched. Research from the University of Lincoln identified these consistently. The area around the cheeks, the base of the ears, and under the chin are the places most cats find genuinely pleasurable. And there is a reason for that beyond simple preference. These areas are where cats carry scent glands. When you touch these places, something subtle and significant happens. Your cat is essentially allowing you into the process of scent marking. You are being pulled into their world, their territory, their sense of what is safe and familiar. It is an act of inclusion. Then there are the zones that can undo all of that trust in a single moment. The belly is perhaps the most misunderstood spot on a cat's body. When a cat rolls over and exposes its stomach, most owners interpret that as an invitation, and the natural impulse is to reach down and give that soft belly a rub. But what your cat is actually doing is showing you something profound. The belly is the most vulnerable part of any animal's body. Exposing it to you is an act of deep trust. It is your cat saying, "I feel safe enough around you to let my guard down completely." It is not a request to be touched there. It is a gift of vulnerability, and the most respectful response is simply to appreciate it without acting on it. The area near the base of the tail is another one that confuses many owners. Some cats find gentle pressure there pleasant, but many find it overstimulating almost instantly. If you have ever been calmly petting your cat and then suddenly, without obvious warning, they turned and nipped your hand, there is a good chance you had wandered into a zone where sensation had built to a point that felt overwhelming. Your cat was not being erratic. Your cat was communicating the only way it had left after the other signals went unnoticed. Those other signals are always there if you watch for them. The tail that begins to flick back and forth with increasing speed. The ears that rotate slightly backward or flatten. The skin along the back that ripples or twitches. These are all your cat saying quietly and clearly, "That is enough." When you learn to catch those signals early and simply stop and let your cat rest, you are doing something powerful. You are showing your cat that you listen. And a cat that feels truly listened to, truly seen, is a cat that begins to seek you out rather than avoid you. Now we arrive at something that most people never think about at all, and yet it may be the most quietly powerful element in your entire relationship with your cat. It has nothing to do with what you do or say. It has to do with how you smell. You experience your home visually. You walk into a room and you see colors and shapes and light. You notice if something has been moved. You register the familiar arrangement of everything you own. But your cat experiences that same room in an entirely different dimension. For your cat, the world is written in scent. Every corner, every surface, every piece of furniture carries a story your cat can read in a single breath. Who passed through? What changed? Whether the space feels safe or foreign. Scent is not just information to your cat. It is reality. This is why, when your cat rubs its face along your hand or pushes its head against your leg, it is doing something deeply intentional. Those cheek and chin areas are full of scent glands, and when your cat marks you with them, it is making a declaration. This person belongs to my world. This person is safe. This person is mine. Being scent marked by a cat is one of the most intimate things they can offer you, and most people do not even notice it is happening. Now here is where something interesting enters the picture. Many owners, without realizing it, are constantly erasing that connection. You wash the blanket your cat sleeps on regularly. You change your clothes quickly after your cat has been resting on them. You clean away the evidence of your cat's presence throughout your home. And every time you do, you are quietly telling your cat that their scent, their mark, their presence, does not last in your world. That registers to them in a way that is subtle but real. You do not need to stop cleaning your home, but you can be more thoughtful about this. If your cat has a favorite blanket, let it rest between washes longer than you normally would. If they have been resting on your clothing, let those items sit nearby for a while. Let the scent of your cat exist in your shared space the way your cat itself exists there. You can also do something even more intentional. Take a soft piece of fabric and gently rub it against your cat's cheeks, those scent gland areas, and then leave that fabric somewhere near where you usually sit. You are essentially placing your cat's signature in the space where you spend your time together. And when your cat comes to that spot and recognizes its own scent there, something in it relaxes, feels at home, and it begins to associate that feeling with you. And now, bring this together with the slow blink. Imagine your cat approaching a space that carries its own familiar scent, feeling the quiet safety of that, and then looking up to find you there, watching them gently and slowly, calmly closing your eyes in that wordless signal of trust. You smell like their world, and then you speak their language. In that moment, you are not just a person to your cat. You are the place where they feel most themselves. Here is the deeper truth that sits underneath all of this. People often assume that cats are aloof by nature, that their independence is a kind of emotional wall, that they simply do not need connection the way other animals do. But that is not what the science shows, and it is not what any patient, observant cat owner truly believes. Cats do form deep bonds. They do experience attachment. They do notice when you are gone and feel something when you return. They are simply operating by a different set of rules, rules that were written long before they ever shared a home with a human. The cat that ignores you is not telling you that it does not care. It is telling you that it has not yet found a reason to feel safe enough to show you that it does. Every behavior we have explored in this video is your cat speaking in the only language it knows. The way it stalks prey teaches you about the joy of feeling truly understood. The way it comes to you on its own terms teaches you about the power of patience and respect. The slow blink teaches you that vulnerability is a language. The voice that responds to yours alone teaches you that your cat has been listening all along. The zones it loves to be touched carry an invitation to enter its world more deeply. And the scent it leaves on you is simply its way of writing you into its story. When you stop trying to earn your cat's love through constant pursuit and start showing up in the quiet, steady, respectful ways this video has described, something gradually begins to change. Your cat starts watching you from across the room not with blankness, but with a kind of consideration. It begins to settle near you instead of away from you. It offers that slow blink more often. It leans into your hand when you touch the right places. It comes and finds you when it wants warmth, not because it has learned to perform affection, but because something in it has decided that you are trustworthy. That is not a small thing. That is one of the most quietly beautiful forms of trust that exists. Because your cat did not have to give it to you. It chose to. And that choice, when it finally comes, feels like being let into something rare and genuine. Something worth every moment of patience it took to get there.